Back on ABC24 this week with Otis Sanford, Susan Adler-Thorpe, and Reverend Kenneth Whalum. I'm Richard Ransom. Thanks for being with us. We want to talk a little bit about the mayor's race because there was a decision made, or an opinion given, I should say, from an attorney representing the Shelby County Election Commission saying if a candidate for mayor, and I think we're up to 12 or 13 now, we're keeping track because we have a side bet with the Reverend on how many there will be.
26 before it's over.
But we got 12 or 13 now, and three of the more prominent ones, it turns out, did not live in Memphis for a 5-year period before when this next election happens in October. And that it would violate city charter, and the conclusion is that they should not be allowed to run. Let's show the pictures of the three candidates who are involved here. Sheriff Floyd Bonner is just moving from Bartlett to a home in East Memphis that he and his wife just purchased. In the case of Willie Harrington, the former mayor, he did live in Collierville for a time during that past 5 years. And in the case of former county commissioner and NAACP President Van Turner, he lived in Southeast Shelby County before moving back to Memphis within the past 5 years. So I wonder, we'll start with you, Ken, on this one. What do you think the ramifications are of this, and do you think we should take this more seriously than not, or do you think the politicians will end up being able to run no matter what?
Well, as the only person, at least up here, who has filed a lawsuit against the Election Commission and won the lawsuit, at least on the local level, that it was proven that there's a lot of shenanigans that go on, I would hope that the letter of the law would prevail. If you didn't live in the city within that time, you can't run this time. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that politics will prevail, and those major candidates we looked at are probably going to stay in the race. I would hope they wouldn't. Very seriously, though, I think this is an opportunity for our friend Floyd Bonner to gracefully withdraw from the race. Use that as the excuse to withdraw and focus on 201 Poplar and focus on getting the sheriff's department where it should be.
Why would you withdraw if the polls would suggest you've got the most name recognition?
Because your integrity is on the line, because you're responsible for 201 Poplar. Inmates are being murdered at 201 Poplar. If you ever go down there, you want to run for your life because you know it's not safe. I'm saying use that as an opportunity to say, you know what, Memphis, I'd like to be your mayor. I know you want me to be your mayor, but let me do this job, and then maybe I'll come back.
Susie, you and I were talking about this, back to the residency question. Willie Harrington might be able to get through this okay, is your observation, but the others two might be in trouble.
Well, it depends. And remember, what we have now are just two opinions from attorneys. It's not a ruling by a court of law. An opinion is an opinion. This thing's going to wind up in a court, and it's going to has to be settled by a court. But if the court would rule that the charter stands and that you have to have lived in Memphis for 5 years prior to the election, and the charter doesn't say how you had to live in Memphis, it just said live in Memphis, then I think that Mayor Harrington gets excused from here because he may have owned a home in Collierville where he lived off and on, but he also owns a home in Memphis, has lived in that home in Memphis, actually has paid taxes on that home, has light, gas, and water bills for many, many, many years. And so who is, a lot of people have a home in Memphis and have a home in Destin. And they live in Destin part of the time. In Memphis, who's to say where you live and where you don't live? So I think that he could, and plus the fact, I think he has sold that home in Collierville a few years ago.
Yes, he has sold it.
But I think that if there's anybody who would survive a court ruling by upholding the charter, it would be Mayor Harrington. But I think it's going to have to be settled in a court of law. If not, there would be no reason for anyone to drop out.
Otis, what's your quick take?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I see a little bit of what both Ken and Susan are saying here. Politically speaking, I just don't see that anybody, even in the court system, is going to adhere to such a letter of the law that these candidates won't be allowed to run. They'll figure out a way to allow them to run. And Susan is bringing up the technicality part of this. I mean, where do you live? Where do you reside? What's your major domicile? I mean, there are a lot of things that some judge will have to, but there's still the law of the court of public opinion. Right. And the court of public opinion has said that if you didn't feel it was worthy to live in the city full time, how do you feel you are worthy to run the city full time? And that's a valid argument.
Sure. Okay, we'll leave it there. When we come back, we'll talk about the goings on in Nashville. Another busy week with trying to keep track of everything there. We'll be right back.